What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Finally back with another Crosstrek modification. Today I'll be installing some hood lights with the LP Aventure hood light brackets. These are just the unpainted version of the LP Crosstrek hood light brackets, and I'm using the Nilight LED floodlights I got from Amazon, and same brand Nilight wiring harness, which makes the install very easy. I'll leave links in the description for both items. The kit comes with a full wiring harness, some extra terminals, and a pretty simplified wiring diagram. An overview of the harness and how it's going to be laid out on the car. This is a switch that's going to go in the cabin. I'm going to route that through the firewall. This is a relay that we're gonna mount right in the engine bay near the battery. This is a fuse terminal that is gonna go to the positive terminal of the battery. Ground terminal, which we could do on the negative terminal of the battery or just anywhere in the chassis really. And then this harness goes to supply the power to both the hood lights. They're about 4 feet apart, which I'm not sure if that's going to be enough slack. Hopefully it is. Otherwise, we'll extend it if needed. And as far as the lights and brackets, this is how it should look like assembled. This will just bolt right under the hood hinge, and then these will peep out right at the top. I would leave all these swivel brackets loose until you get it bolted on the car and properly positioned. Begin by removing the lower hinge nut, which is a 12mm. Then position the light and bracket assembly under the hinge and reinstall the 12mm nut. Repeat the same process on the other side. Now that both sides are mounted, you can now work on positioning the floodlights to point exactly how you want them to. Now it's time to route the wiring harness, starting with the portion going to the hood lights. It's pretty simple, just connect the red to red and black to black. I didn't want a bunch of wiring exposed, so I'm routing the harness through the hood and connecting it to the other side. I'm going to be using this wire hanger and bending it straight so that I can fish it through the hood. I left a hook at the end so I can easily clip the harness to it and pull it through. We're going to be using this crimping tool to add some wire terminals or connectors at the end of our lights. I like to wrap electrical tape all around the wire connectors and the exposed wiring to protect it from the elements and look clean. Now it's time to install the in-cabin light switch, which we'll be putting on this panel. Flip open the fuse cover to access the backside of the switch panel. In order to remove this blank button, you have to pry down the bottom clip on the dash and push the button inwards. This button happens to fit really snug on the switch panel, so I just made a groove on the side to center the button. I didn't want to drill any holes on the dash in case the fiance makes me remove the lights tonight. Now comes the most frustrating part of this install, which is fishing the switch harness through the firewall. We are going to access through the main harness grommet beside the brake booster. You have to peel the factory tape off to open the flap. I ended up piercing a hole through the inside of the boot with a screwdriver. Be very careful not to damage any of the wiring harness in this area. Once you are able to push the wire connector through the firewall, pull it back from the inside of the cabin and connect it to the switch harness. Now it's time to finish up the wiring in the engine bay. You can pretty much mount the relay anywhere, but I chose to put it near the fuse panel. It's good practice to disconnect the negative battery terminal whenever doing any wiring related service. I ended up removing the fuse from the positive cable for extra peace of mind while I complete the install. For ground, I used the bolt on the strut tower behind the fuse panel, where the factory wiring harness is grounded to anyway. And for a 12-volt source, I hooked up the fuse terminal directly to the battery. Now it's time to tuck all of the wiring to the side and test if the lights work before the final touches. The switch itself should light up whenever you put it in the on position and turn back off when you turn it off. Now that we've confirmed that the lights are functioning properly, we can now clean up the install by securing the wiring. The LP brackets actually have some small holes to the side of it that allow you to zip tie the harness and fully secure it so it doesn't move when you open and close the hood. On the driver's side, I secured the harness to the inside of the hood hinge. There's a hole there, you can also add a zip tie, and tuck the rest of the harness on the cover by the fender. Inside the cabin, you want to make sure you have the harness routed above the steering column, but have enough play to clear the brake pedal so it doesn't interfere with it when you're using the brake pedal. Here's what the final product should look like. The engine bay should be very clean with very minimal wiring exposed. If you found any of this information useful, make sure you smash that like button. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. But for today, this is going to be it. Thank you for watching.